We have a pretty substantial injury update coming to you as Kyle Shanahan spoke to local media about all the happenings around the San Francisco 49ers. And as a theme that has started at the very beginning of the year with injuries has unfortunately continued as we inch closer and closer to the regular season. So, as we know, there's been a bunch of injuries on the 49ers offensive line. Jonathan Feliciano, who was injured in the Super Bowl and wasn't able to finish the game, kind of came into this year with a similar kind of knee issue, and he was in and out of practice all throughout. Honestly, to me he never really looked the same as what we had come to expect from him, which earned him that starting role in the Super Bowl. And so he was kind of in and out of 49ers training camp, and it was reported by Kyle Shanahan that Jonathan Feliciano has officially had knee surgery, that he will start the year on injured reserve, and this will likely push him into the season. Now, there's new rules with the not just with the 49ers, but with the NFL, is that you can place players on injured reserve and it won't end their season. Whereas prior, if you were put on IR before the final 53-man roster was cut, your season would be done. So there is a potential that he can return mid-year. This feels like it opens up the door for obviously Dominic Puni to start, but guys like Nick Zakelj, who I think has solidified himself on this roster. So with how Zakelj has been performing, how he's been rotating in with the ones, I do believe Zakelj has beat out Ben Barch. So Nick Zakelj, I think, slides into Jonathan Feliciano's role. And obviously, we do have a Spencer Burford update coming up shortly as well in this video. So let's get into that. But obviously, unfortunate situation for Feliciano, who honestly I thought at the beginning of the year was going to be pegged as your starting right guard just based on what he did last year, how he finished the season. But of course, dealing with injuries and won't have the opportunity to do so. But let's talk about some players who have come back to practice. As you can see, this is from David Lombardi of The Athletic. You see pictured here Isaac Guerendo. I have yet to see Isaac Guerendo play as a 49ers. So I covered all of training camp. Obviously, we're 2 weeks into preseason, one more preseason game left. We haven't seen Isaac Guerendo other than the very start of training camp before it was open. And then during mandatory minicamp, OTAs, that situation. So we haven't seen Isaac Guerendo in a long time. So it is positive that Isaac Guerendo will be returning to practice today after dealing with the hamstring injury. You could also see it reported from David that Ben Barch is returning, Spencer Burford, at least doing individual drills, which is a good sign because, as we know, Spencer Burford had broken his, looked like either his hand or fingers somewhere in this area. He kind of had a half cast throughout training camp. The interesting thing with Burford is Burford would gear up, he would wrap his hand, he would go through the initial kind of warm-up period of training camp, and then he would just go off to the side and work out, but in full pads, full gear. But he didn't participate. So I found that to be an interesting setup for him. Maybe it's just to kind of stay in that routine, stay keeping your and doing the works, keeping your body fresh, I would imagine, is part of it. So it is a promising sign that Spencer Burford is at least returning to individual drills, which is a step up from where he was during the open portion of training camp. So Spencer Burford is going to be an interesting, part of this whole equation. Obviously, we know that Aaron Banks is injured, so he broke his pinky. So just dealing with a bunch of injuries on the interior up front, and the fact that Dominic Puni has turned into what he is a huge, huge relief because the 49ers would be in some serious trouble without Puni available right now. Running back Patrick Taylor will also return to practice. We also got some additional updates as well. You will see that Talanoa Hufanga will not return to practice. So there was hope that Hufanga was going to be able to get cleared last week and return this week. It doesn't. It's not clear if he actually didn't clear the testing or not. But the way that Kyle Shanahan has explained it is Talanoa Hufanga won't practice this week. He won't play in the game, but that doesn't mean that kind of puts him on the shelf for week one. Kyle Shanahan said there's still a good chance that Talanoa Hufanga suits up for that week one Sunday night football matchup against the Jets. So there is at least a little optimism surrounding Talanoa Hufanga, also understanding that he isn't going to be practicing this week. So unfortunate with that situation. And I think the one that is probably the most unfortunate at this point is Ricky Pearsall, the San Francisco 49ers first round draft pick, appears to be slated to miss the entire preseason with the shoulder injury that he sustained at practice during training camp. So this is just unfortunate because I know that everyone wants to see Ricky Pearsall out there. I've obviously been able to get eyes on at training camp, and you can see what he brings to the table. Crisp route runner, strong hands. Um, he's a rookie, so you want these rookies to go out there and get their reps and find their feel for the NFL game and the speed of it, and building that camaraderie and rapport with your not only your quarterback but your other teammates. So it's just been an unfortunate situation for Ricky. And again, like, he's being tagged by 49er fans as being injury prone. But when you look at Ricky coming in, he played 5 years of college ball and he didn't miss a single game. So the fact that he's already basically going to miss the 3 preseason games, I wouldn't say is in line with what we've seen from him. I know 49er fans have a lot of PTSD surrounding injuries and things like that. So we know that Pearsall has had 3 separate injuries so far to start his 49er tenure. And so fans are quick to hop on that particular narrative. I think we just have to give this guy some leash to be able to get healthy. And then once he gets healthy, we see how he operates throughout a full season and give him some time. Then I think that would be the appropriate way to, before we like start slinging any type of names or like categorizing him as a certain way. I think obviously, yes, you want him to stay healthy. Availability is the best ability in the NFL. We understand this. Um, but it's still really early on. And I think we just have to be patient. I know it's probably eating him up inside. He's probably going crazy. We know and everything we've heard about him, he's a hard worker. So he just probably wants to get out there and work. He wants to go out there, be a part of be with his teammates, all these different types of things. So I could imagine this is a challenging situation for Ricky Pearsall, who obviously could have had a ton of opportunities with the whole Brandon Ayuk situation, opening up reps, his ability to slot into that kind of X receiver role. Just an unfortunate situation, but hopefully we get him back week one. Hopefully he doesn't miss any actual game time. But just an unfortunate situation, and obviously we've already made some updates on it, but no updates on Trent Williams or Brandon Ayuk right now. So we're just kind of waiting and seeing. But this is pretty much the pretty substantial injury report that we got from the 49ers today. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.